welcome to Scott's Inverts. Now, recently we went over to Shirley Aquatics and I couldn't come away, although I really that was the plan, it was not to buy anything. But we ended up going and we ended up getting some cherry shrimps and a really tiny tank to do it with. I am in the kitchen because this is where we're going to set it up. My boys have been asking for shrimp since they've been watching shrimp videos on YouTube and what have you. So I thought, get them a tank, we'll set it up and see how they get on. But this is the tiny shrimp tank. So the actual tank is 16 centimeters by 16 by 21 centimeters tall. We also have the aqua shrimp powder. Now this is a substrate for your plants, and apparently the shrimp can sift through it really easy, as well as having a few grasses, as well as and a very small plant that will cover the base. We have a small bottle of prime, an air pump, as well as an air filter. Because this is only a small project, we're not going to get your normal kind of fish tank filter in there, so we've gone for a sponge filter where all the bacteria will sit inside that sponge and hopefully eat all the bad stuff that the shrimp kind of produce. Now let's crack open the box, get our ultra tiny shrimp tank out and crack on with this build. So it's solid glass all the way around with a plastic base, a plastic top and a see-through plastic lid. Also, we're not going to need a heater in this one because our house is always sitting at around 22 degrees, which should keep the water temperature in at around 20, which should be absolutely bang on for our shrimp. Now what we're also now doing is adding the pond aqua shrimp powder. Now we've gone for around 2.5 inches in here to 3 inches, made it a little bit thicker than what you'd think for this actual glass enclosure, and that is just down to the fact that I want to get the plants in there and get them rooted. Now this air pump here, we did make a little bit of a mistake. This was the smallest one in Shirley Aquatics, the smallest pump that they had to hand. But as I'll show you in a second, you see that little green top, so that goes on there. The air pipe then follows down that tunnel and hooks into the top of there. So the air stone there we don't actually need, but we'll save it for a future project. Now that air pump, we had to remove the green top because with the green top on there, that actually sticks well out of the water, and I want the bubbles to be going through the water and cascading on the top because a gaseous exchange happens on the top of the surface, so the more movement on the surface the better, and I think with it coming out and just dropping down the sides it's not going to be enough. So there's 2 holes at the top, but you do have to punch the 3 little plastic prongs off in order to get any pipe work through. So that's what I've done, and I've set it up there, and this is where I'm kind of looking at it and I'm thinking that green tunnel, that green piping is going to be sticking outside the very top of the water, so what I need to actually do is remove it, and I am just trying to scape the stones, scape the soil. It didn't go as brilliantly as what I first planned, but we start adding the water. Now this is RO water which we bought from the shop, bought from local aquatics, so I didn't actually need the prime, but what I will be doing in the future is when we do a 20% water change, is the water that goes back into this, I'll be using prime, and when they've had babies we'll be setting it up also using that prime. As you can see, the actual bag said we don't have to rinse it, but this is what you're left with. So I'm going to put these plants in anyway and hope that all that water will clear up in the next couple of weeks. In fact, a bit later on in this video I'll show you how quickly it actually cleared up. So that is like the low level plant, and we've got those 2 taller grasses to go in at the back just to give the shrimp somewhere to hide, a little bit naturalistic. So this is after about an hour to 2 hours after planting the plants, and the following day it is actually even clearer. Give it a week or 2 and this tank should be absolutely crystal clear. Now we got the shrimps in there. What we did with the shrimps is we put the bag of water on top of the actual tank so they get the same temperature, and I put a little bit of the water from out of the tank in the bag with the shrimps as well, as to try and get them acclimatized, and just look absolutely awesome. All of them all flying around doing really well. We had 1 casualty, which is to be expected, but there's 8 red cherry shrimps that have gone in there, and I've been reassured that they should breed really well. and we'll be upgrading this tank in no time at all. I already have a 30 by 30 by 30 set aside, so what I'm going to do is give it a month. I'm going to set that 30 by 30 by 30 up, and I think we are going to actually transfer these over to that one, so expect to see that one on the channel also. Shrimp tank done. We have also got a 3-foot fish tank that we shall be setting up really soon also, as well as the epic shed build that we've got going on at the end of the garden. All the tarantulas, all the centipedes and everything else are going down in the shed at the bottom. We're going to be putting one of the videos, the building videos for that very soon onto the channel as well. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscription button, because it's a very exciting time for me at Scott's Inverts. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, we shall see you again on the next one.